When it comes to Cupcake Drake, if you're prepared to see how the former Iceman turned Cupcake Man is completely fried at the moment. Fresh details regarding the case that he continues dragging on and on have surfaced. Mega Karen 40 appears to be in worse shape than ever before. This is going to be a great one. So make sure to subscribe and like it. And once again, I must pose this question seriously because Lubbery is coming out for everyone, maybe including me, and he will only prolong this matter further, especially in light of what we recently learned from the case's judges. Please remember to leave that like because we will need all the help we can get. And everyone needs to see how the judges are now evaluating Lubbery because Cupcake Drake is currently leading the field. The head of the Legion of Lane truly suffers when it rains, since, after all, Drake changed from being a wannabe rapper to a Jerry Springer impersonator. You would think that a rapper who is losing so badly that he is requesting a paternity test would be the end of the world. But that isn't the case. And with new information from this case coming forth, things have only gotten worse from here. Judge Vargas is the one attempting to make sense of Karen. And what we have seen so far in his own words is that she is utilizing these mechanisms to elevate Karen to hitherto unheard of heights. Even one of the most reputable and highly skilled individuals you might have working on this project is completely astounded by the reasoning Lubbery is attempting to employ. And let's get right to the point because, really, everything that is happening right now is because of the mess that Drake has made and the precedent that he has attempted to set with this whole case. As you can see, it is truly coming back to haunt him. And what we are beginning to see is the writing on the wall because everything here is not only going to end up ruining his rap career and legacy, as we have already seen and understood, but it is even worse than that. Cupcake Karen has reached a point where he is going to be laughed out of court so badly that he is on track to be humiliated in a suit in a way that no one has ever witnessed. Not just in the hip-hop community, among those who respect the craft and competition in general, but also among these high-ranking professionals who have had to make the extra effort and waste their time trying to resolve this issue. And the reason for all of this is that, at the end of the day, the main idea behind Drake's complaints and attempts to persuade us all is that Not Like Us was a terrible record for him because it led us to believe that Drake is a certain thing. Listen, I'm being told that Drake might pursue me. I won't go into too much detail, but you get what I mean. It indicates Drake's interest in Stranger Things and his affection for the real Stranger Things demonstrates those Stranger Things I'm referring to. Thus, with this and Drake's attempt to defend his position, Kendrick Lamar has led everyone to assume that Drake's interest in Stranger Things and his involvement with these really strange things, which would lead to some strange situations, are unquestionable facts. Naturally, they are attempting to clarify that this song is the only reason. Not because Drake has photos of the whole Strange Things cast, invited Madison Beer to parties, or engaged in other strange behavior. Do you know what happens when individuals turn left? Since I don't need any more difficulty, and they could be coming for me, I won't mention it. You get what I mean, though? This man is crazy. Thus, essentially now comprehending and evaluating every detail of what the court has said and used against Cupcake Karen is. And I'm going to show you a portion of the transcript right here. What we are witnessing here is that Drake has based his whole case on the sheer logic of the precedent he has attempted to establish and the proof he is attempting to provide by stating that everything is true. Now, applying the same principle, Drake may be able to complain about Not Like Us more than anyone has ever complained about a single song in music history. But he was unaware that this came at a price. Drake's songs are now being judged using the same criteria. And really, what we're seeing here is that after reviewing all of the disc recordings, all of the lyrics, and Drake's own precedents, the court took issue with Cupcake's reasoning. What has completely destroyed Drake and is now regarded as a solid assertion that takes precedence over all other factors. But more than anything Kendrick Lamar has done, it's a song that will go down as one of the biggest errors, if not the biggest, in hip-hop history, is the one that is ruining Lou Bree's chances of ever emerging from this thing with anything even remotely positive. And it's none other than Taylor Freestyle. And the reason for this is that Drake's arrogance as a person and his disdain for the art form he had stolen from were best demonstrated by this song, which ultimately destroyed rap music as a whole for a very long time. The court is now viewing this as a clear error and blunder on Drake's part, which essentially renders the accusations he is making about not being like us essentially nullified if it proceeds this far. Are the lyrics in the song where Drake, who has Tupac's voice over him, tells Kendrick about the females he likes directly, which undoubtedly leads to some unusual things to be interested in. Drake then naturally stated that he knew it had to be genuine because he had heard it on the Bun podcast. Listen to all of the Drake fans that saw this and are still attempting to irritate me. You are following through this time, so leave now. I'd rather not hear it because now that the courts are aware that Drake has been acting literally in this back and forth, he has acknowledged that what Kendrick stated was accurate. The lessons that everyone should learn from this are that your words have a lot of power and that you should exercise extreme caution while speaking, since in any situation, anything may happen. As we can see from this song, Cupcake attempted to frighten Kendrick and became so conceited that he publicly acknowledged anything weird that he believed would ruin his career and this feud. Now that Drake has established a precedent, the judge is examining these lines, and what it tells them is that, for Drake, he is acknowledging that the entire thing he began dragging, Not Like Us and its contents, is something that, when we break this down as everything being literal and not artistic anymore, is something that Drake has wanted and that he apparently asked Kendrick to do in order to put himself on a track by using this very basic logic. I know that's a very difficult concept for Drake to watch. Try to follow along. We are watching Karen's method and plan in this instance just fall apart. And we are witnessing yet another perplexing contradiction from him. Since the judges are now looking at what you just said and essentially just seeing that you doubled down and wanted Kendrick to do everything he did in the first place. How are you really this much of a failure that even after you ran to the judges to try and save you from the loss that you took in a rap battle that now, based on the rule book and precedents that you have created to whine and drag this thing out, you are still managing to lose? I mean, this could be Drake's last chance. At the moment, it looks terrible, and as long as this reasoning is accepted, things will quickly get worse, particularly when Drake is attempting to find out what Kendrick Lamar is up to in his personal life, which essentially seems to be nothing that he will find. Now that more of Drake's statements and theories are being investigated, everyone is seeing how hypocritical and dishonest he is, as well as how phony this case has been. What's particularly odd about this right now, according to certain industry rumors, is that the judges have just realized how illogical this jump in reasoning is behind the scenes. Therefore, there is concrete evidence that Drake actually urged Kendrick to perform what he did on Not Like Us, according to certain rumors. This lawsuit may shortly be dismissed, favoring Not Like Us and the companies over Drake. And because of this, well, to start, Cupcake Karen is well conscious of this. For this reason, he had his staff record all of the other absurd gestures regarding Kendrick and his family that we just witnessed, along with pretty much anything else that may help make his songs seem more authentic and Kendrick's private life seem messier. Furthermore, given his demeanor and his repeated attempts to hide his mistakes with the only thing he is capable of doing, not writing a good song, doing anything honorable, or doing anything respectable, Drake is really just making more trash. This does appear to be a plausible scenario and to be well within the scope of possibilities. Therefore, even though there is still a lot to happen in this case, if Taylor's freestyle and Drake's remarks there end up being the reason why everything goes wrong for him, it will be hilarious and poetic that this is how things end up for Drake in the end. And you could literally write many volumes about what to learn. From this, if it turns out to be the circumstances because of things like underestimating your opponent, being conceited, putting stuff out there that may have caused you problems, and just never being able to accept responsibility. Actually, when you combine all of these factors, you can see Drake's current position. Furthermore, Taylor's freestyle was the most repulsive thing Drake performed during the entire dispute. Even if there were songs that were worse and created more noise, when we consider all of this in that light, I do believe that there isn't a more appropriate or humorous method to solidify Drake's demise than that. Now that you have mentioned all of this, please let me know. How do you feel about everything that's happening with Karen at the moment? And do you believe that just on this one album, the precedent he established and the lyrics he included, he could simply destroy his whole case? I'm eager to hear your thoughts on all of this. You already know what to do if you watched the entire movie. Make sure to subscribe, give a like. It's really helpful to me. And now, if you want to see how, well, just before this, Kendrick answered Drake's jabs in the only manner he could, which is undoubtedly not going to sit well with Drake. Watch the recommended video.